Hello, hello, and happy Thursday. It's Thursday at the time I'm recording this. I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July, whether you celebrated it as the independence of the United States of America or whether you celebrated this or honored this as a day to really be mindful about the fact that we live on stolen land. However, you celebrated, and actually, if you celebrated both, more power to you, because actually both are true. There are great things about America and also challenging things. I am hopping on today with some really challenging news that some of you have noticed. I've not been on live as much as I had been. I've not been as active on social media as I have been. And I've been putting up a lot of pre-recorded content or things like a lot of reruns. And some of you have started to ask. And so I wanted to sort of address what's been going on because it's been super stressful. And I'd love if I could handle the stress without having it rock my world or without having it rock my business, but that just hasn't been the case for me. So what's been going on is that since probably, as a whole from November until now, Matt and I combined have had 3 different cancer scares. And we both passed our first 2 cancer scares. Like we had lab signs or clinical signs that doctors were worried were cancer. And I guess that's a thing that's going to come up as we get older. But this 3rd cancer scare, we haven't gotten so lucky. And so the bottom line is we were kind of wrestling with that and waiting for a diagnosis for a while, waiting to get in with an oncologist, waiting for more definitive tests. And finally got the definitive tests, but not everyone in our family had been made aware that Matt has been diagnosed with cancer. And that has totally just rocked my world. It hasn't been an easy thing, and it's not a terrible cancer. He's been diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is a type of cancer that some people can live with for 20, 30 years without having a problem. And it's a cancer that has had a lot of improvements in longevity lately, to the point that the 5-year survival rate, maybe 8 years ago, was 50%. And that was the first study I looked up when I saw that he had, most likely had chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which really wrecked me. Just like 50-50 chance that I could lose my husband in 5 years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that did or how that really shook me up, especially as relates to being a dating and relationship coach, because it was really huge. And I'll share, I was hoping that today I would have stage information and a really solid prognosis for Matt, but we still don't have that. He was supposed to go back to the oncologist today to find out the results of the PET scan, which is the one that will let us know if he's stage 0, 1, or 2. And those are really different in terms of prognosis. But that got canceled at the last minute. So we have to wait another 2 weeks to have that kind of information. But I feel like I really felt a deep desire to share with the people who are really following my content and really finding hope and inspiration in my content, to share with you how this has so rocked my world. And if you happen to also be adopted, you'll probably also know that my life began with loss. I had many losses in early childhood, continuing right up and through the not so distant past. And the idea of losing my life love, my life partner, this person who's just a hand in glove, perfect fit for me, just was a gut punch. It hit me. It's like the core issue that I face. And that has required me to do a lot of growth work and spiritual work. And it's required a little bit of alone time to really dive into the depths. I can't see who is messaging me, but I do see you in the chat, in the comment. Thank you so much. I am not able to see you unless you've given StreamYard permission. So thank you. I'm not sure who that was, but thank you very much. So this, I just, like, so much of my life is shared with him. It was what I wanted. I wanted a life partner. I want someone I could share with. He brought things into my life that I never did before, like pottery. He has made space. You can see my book collection. Like, he knows I'm going to have books everywhere, and he knows I'll always have more books than I have shelf space. And he knows we're always going to need to buy more shelves, and he's good with that. And that is not a thing I've already had. And thank you. Thank you for the supportive comments. They really help a lot. So as I'm facing this like moment of, what will the future be? So initially also I thought that he was having symptoms. So he had been tired all the time, and one of the symptoms is fatigue. And once you start having symptoms, it's about 2 years from when you have symptoms to when you die. And it's like there's no cure, there's just treatment. And for those of you just hopping on right now, Matt has been diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Some people do really, really well with this and some people do not. And we're not clear what category he's going to be in yet because we still don't have all the test results. So when I thought he was symptomatic and I thought I was going to lose him in 2 years, obviously, any of you who know IFS know, I'm going to talk about parts and I'm going to share one of my parts. I had a part that was like, oh my God, this was dumb. Why love someone? They're going to die. You're going to lose them. That's the dumbest thing ever. And then another part that was like, can you really encourage people to open their heart to love, knowing that people die? And I was like, well, yeah, because of course, like, what's the option? You live without love ever? I mean, the reality is people die. And that's the thing, that's the thing that for me has been the biggest barrier, is this concept of loss and losing people, not having them, not being able to keep them. And now my dog's howling. He's upset about it too. So he can really hear and feel the intensity of my emotion right now. So yeah, so that part was really thinking I should quit being a dating and relationship coach, because how can I talk people into this when, I might lose the love of my life? And even though I found this amazing person, I don't get to keep him forever. And the fact of the matter is, I always knew that. And I always knew, because I've had so many losses in my life, I've always known that every relationship ends in tears for the most part. It all ends in tears, either because someone passes or because you haven't navigated the relationship artfully or skillfully and it's ended prematurely. There isn't a way out that isn't painful. And I've really not wanted to say that, because that's a hard reality that we all just live in, and we all want to not deal with it. And here I am, really not having wanted to share this and not having wanted to talk about that. And this is the truth. We all open our hearts to people, and we are all going to lose one day, all of it. Like one day we're all going to pass and we're going to lose it all. And here's why I have decided that none of that should stop me from being a dating and relationship coach. And I'm sort of freewheeling it here. So if this doesn't make sense, I'm really sorry. And if this is a little emotional and raw, I'm also sorry. I've thought about this conversation many times, and it hasn't really come to fruition in a good form. But I would say that here's the main reason. When in 2019, I decided I wanted a partner, I hired a coach and I found a partner, and I have an amazing partner in Matt. He is more than I wanted in a partner. He is really incredible, and we've done amazing growth work together. We've had amazing fun. We've cultivated a deep spiritual connection and friendship, and he's my partner in the truest sense of the word. We are there for each other's kids in unique ways. Like my kids go through difficulties and they call Matt. His kids go through things, they call me. And it's beautiful. We can be there for each other's kids because we're not the parent. So that always makes it easier. So we have this amazing thing, and we have this beautiful sort of reconstituted family life. And if you've read like my tagged post, I've had some challenges. So this is beautiful redemption. This is beautiful restoration happening between us. And the problem is, if Matt were to pass in 5 years, I can't imagine another partner. I can't imagine letting someone else into my life. I can't imagine opening my heart again. And I don't have to. I can and I don't have to. 5, 10, 20 years from now, I will know what I need in that moment. And I don't need to know right now. And here's the thing. I am never telling you that you must have a partner. I am never telling you that you should or shouldn't have a partner. What I am here saying is that if you recognize in your deepest heart a longing for a partnership and a longing for the kind of healing that can really only come about through close, healthy relationships, if that's something that your heart truly desires, I believe it's meant for you. I believe the universe, I believe God, I believe however you want to think about it, I believe the divine force of the cosmos that we can maybe call God wants you to have that love. And if you are going to get on board with it, You could say, oh, well, if God wants me to have it, why don't I have it? That's because you're not in alignment with it. You're resisting in some way. And if you want to get on board with it, if you want to stop resisting, if you want to learn how to heal the parts of you that oppose love, that is something I can help you with. That is something I can definitely help you with. I can't tell you that if Matt passes 2, 5, or 10 years from now, that I will open my heart to another partner because I think partnership is the only way to be a human, because that's not what I believe. I wanted a partner very much in 2019, and I found an amazing one. And if God forbid I should happen to lose him way before either one of us is ready, I don't know what I will do. And I can't make a promise to you about what I will do, other than I will do some soul searching. I will go back and do the first part of my whole program again, because I'm committed to that process. And I'll open myself to the vision that wants to live itself through me then. And in the meantime, what I'm doing is I'm using this opportunity to hold space for all my parts, to hold space for Matt's parts, to bring us more and more in alignment with our core self energy, with the beautiful neshama, with source energy, with God, with godliness, with the beauty that gives forward into the universe, and to heal the things in us and between us that don't promote life, that don't promote liveliness, that block abundance in any form, that block liveliness in any form. And I'm working on opening up as much as possible to the freedom of the now, because I see this as a spiritual journey, and as much as it is as a physical journey for Matt and for me, that we have somehow, we're in alignment with this situation. And the most effective, important, meaningful thing I can do is to bring healing to this moment and this situation, and to be in self, to notice my parts, to hold space for them, and to reintegrate them. And will I ever run out of parts? No, not likely. Will you? No, not likely. And that's not even the goal. The goal is to continuously integrate, continuously bring them back into healing, and lead with self as much as possible. So this is how I'm approaching this, what is truly for me a crisis. And I know, like, Matt's mom's deceased husband had CLL, or chronic lymphocytic leukemia, for 30 years before he had symptoms from it. Many people do live a long and healthy life despite it, and some people don't, and we just don't know. And that's the same uncertainty that we've always faced. So now we just get to face it with a greater degree of consciousness and urgency. So that's how I'm dealing with this. And I am committed, maybe even more so, to being a dating and relationship coach, and to keeping mindful dating front and center in my coaching business, alongside the handful of private coaching clients who want to work on career or personal or spiritual issues as well. And this is why, because having Matt in my life has added so much that it's going to be totally worth drowning in tears when he passes. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much for listening.